Hey, human family, it's Darren. How are you? Welcome to another episode of Fully Alive Again. I got a really good show for you guys today. Let's talk about love. The word love is so convoluted with so many different narratives and emotions that most of us have no idea what love really is or what it means to be loved. So if understanding and finding love sounds good to you, hit the subscribe button and let's do what we do and dive deep.
No tears, no fears, fully alive again after this years.
Does a tree ever stop giving its shade and providing its wood? Does a rose ever stop sharing its beauty and fragrance? Does a human being ever stop loving and caring? You see, love to the human being is no different than the shade in the wood of a tree. Love is what we are as a human being. When we are no longer capable of loving and caring, we stop being human. Just like a rose would no longer be a rose if it lost its beauty and fragrance. When we stop loving as a human being, we are no longer human. We have slipped into the darkness created by the enemy, the darkness of the narcissist, of an evil entity and energy. There is so much relationship foolishness online. People are saying that love has an expiration date, that only certain kinds of people can obtain love or deserve love. You have to be a high value man or a perfect desirable woman. Now, don't get me wrong, there's a lot of truth and relevancy in the attributes that a lot of these type of people have. However, I was a high value man married to a stunningly gorgeous woman who was fit, feminine, and agreeable, and underneath it all, a fucking demon. A full-blown narcissist. One of the most vulgar, evil people I've ever met. As a high-value man, I was around other high-value men. The richest 3 out of all of the men that I knew were pieces of shit. We get so caught up in the disillusionment and the standards of others that it causes us to lose our capability of loving and what real love is. We've got this thing called love all mixed up and upside down. When we don't add narcissism into the equation for searching for any solution in the gender wars especially, and in human relationships, everything that we're doing is on a weak foundation. Almost all of it's erroneous if we don't add narcissism into the equation when it comes to human experiences, looking for solutions in any area of human existence, especially when it comes to love and relationships. To even talk about love in relationships without understanding narcissism is utterly ridiculous. It's utterly ridiculous, and it's a fallacy. It's a false narrative for the solutions of finding healthy relationships. How any relationship guru or coach can discuss building healthy relationships without discussing narcissism baffles my mind. It's so necessary. It is everything. It is what is the genesis of the gender war. It is the essence of every problem that exists in the human experience. So on today's episode, I would like to simplify love as much as humanly possible through the eyes of an adult, through the filter of an adult. Because we have a lot of things backwards when it comes to love. And we adults need to love. We are designed to love. We really are. You see, children need to be loved. Babies need to be loved. Adults need to love. Do you know why? Because when we love, it creates healthy, powerful, good human beings. And that is the main objective of being human. The way that God, nature, and the universe has created us. You know why? Because when we create healthy, powerful, good human beings, they in turn create healthy communities and cultures that lead to healthy societies and nations that lead to a healthy world. This is why there's a battle between good and evil that is constantly going on. This is why it is unhealthy to give up on finding love and being love. That doesn't make you a simp. Anybody that knows me personally knows that I was the furthest thing from a simp. Throughout my youth and throughout my bad boy life, I could fight with the best of them. Street fighting was a pleasure, was a joy. When I was a womanizer, a player, I pulled the baddest of the baddest. I was always on top of the game. Anybody that knows Darren Green, unless they're lying and hating, knows that I was an alpha dog. And I'm not saying that to impress you. I'm saying that to impress upon you the importance of what I'm saying and where this information is coming from. To be able to love and to respect love and to be loved doesn't make you a simp. The more that my ex-narcissist emasculated me, the more I was incapable of loving. In my alphahood, in my strength and power as a man, was when I was the most capable of love. When I was at my highest level of being a man, at my most powerful state. This is why it is so unhealthy to give up on finding love. I could spend a month of full day seminars on this one subject. I'm going to try to fit it in here and summarize this very quickly. We must let go of our past hurt relationships that prevent us from loving. Love is not a business. The interactions between two human beings become a business and can grow into a business, but we must be open to love. You see, when I first got divorced, I was deeply engulfed into the red pill community. And thank God for the red pill community. I mean that. There's a lot of value in that community. It's a safe place for man to vent and grow and to bond, and we need that as men. But we also have to remember the vehicle that we use to get to a certain building, we got to get out of that vehicle. And the same thing for feminists and for women when they gather and you talk and you vent about men. But in the long run, we all have to get out of the vehicle and assess what it's going to take for us to love again. Most of the red pill community, most of the oppositional female community, call it modern day feminists, whatever. Most of the opposition of the gender wars on both sides stem from narcissists. Whether we know that we've been involved with the narcissist or not, or the kind of energy that the narcissists want to spread into the mind of men and women, the false narratives that they want us to digest and to base our relationships on. Remember, narcissists want the world to be in a mess. There is no way to create more chaos and destruction than to have relationships in a mess. Man against women, women against man. We have to be very careful with the information that we're digesting, because people can be sincerely wrong, whether it's intentional or not. You see, the main thing that we have to do to summarize today's show, and this show really does need more time, you guys, but here's what we have to do as both men and women. We have to look at our past relationships like a farmer looks at their crop. I know this sounds a little crazy, but here's why we have to have that kind of ideology and vision. Is that a farmer can plant a crop and spend a numerous amount of time and energy weeding the crop, pesticides, planting the crop, tending to the crop, doing all that they can so when harvest comes around, they have a huge crop and they're rewarded for their hard work. But often, an early frost can come and destroy that entire year of work. It's the same thing in a relationship. We can do all the right things, be a loving person, really care about someone, and have them betray us, have them slay us and rip our heart out, have them treat us like a fucking doormat. This happens to people. It happens to both genders. It happens to gay, straight. So what do we have to do? We have to plant again. Can you imagine if all the farmers of the world, whenever there was an early frost that destroyed their crops, if they took on the mentality to say, I will never plant again? That is the same thing as saying, I will never love again. Yes, our crop of love, our relationship was destroyed by an evil, false entity that tricked us. This does not give us the right to never love again. The world is in dire strait for love. Kids need love. Love is contextual. When you cut it off over here, it affects it over there. When we are empty and void of love, we become angry, hollow people, whether we want to admit that or not. That affects our children. That affects the people that we're around. It is contextual. We have to keep the optimism, the desire in the search for love. It has to be smart love. It has to be healthy love. And that can only come from doing the inner work and being truthful with ourselves, be it if we're a man or a woman, that life means nothing without love. You can have all the shiny shit you want to. You can have names or degrees and titles. It means nothing. I saw a documentary on Prince that I couldn't take some of the footage from, but the people that were closest to him Prince, the artist Prince, said that his life, the guy that they knew, would have been happier working in a factory with real love and a good wife and children around him. He died in a castle with ultimate wealth. You want to talk about a high value man? And he perished alone and sad and addicted to drugs. You don't have to look far. Just read a headline. Turn on the television. Look at the celebrities with everything that we want, and they are empty, shallow people who are in a mess. Many of them overdose. Icons. If you look at the icons from Michael Jackson, Marilyn Monroe, Elvis Presley, people who had all of the things that would warrant them to be desirable and high value, successful people whose lives were in a mess and crumbled around them. Why? Because it was absent of love. Narcissists can't love. They don't even understand it. It's beyond their peripheral understanding. They don't get it. They won't get it. Many assets of the media, many people who are telling us how to love can't even understand it. They have no grasp on it. So we look for external rewards and make love more rigid and more of a business. It is not. It can become a business. There is nothing greater than having someone on your side. If you give up on love, you give up on life, and you certainly cannot be fully alive again. I cannot promise you that love will come into your life. I personally believe it will. I'm 90% sure it will if you do the right things and you clear your mind from all of the bullshit and all of the attachments and misinformation you have about love. If you're a sentient human being, you will find love if you search for it and make it a priority. But you're not desperate or attached to it. It's a fine line between need and desire. You will vibrate that into your life. I really mean this. But it takes a healthy person that is full of awareness and is able to move on and detach from the soul-crushing experiences we've had from love. It takes us to evaluate our parents, to know who we are, to know how our mind has been programmed for relationships, and to get the erroneous, negative thoughts and belief systems that aren't conducive with healthy relationships. It takes a lot of growing up. We all need and desire love, and there is nothing wrong with that. It is the essence of being human. But we cannot pretend that love looks like this or that. We cannot pretend that we even know what it is until we get healthy. And we damn sure cannot pretend that we don't need it. There is nothing on earth better than a good woman or a good man and to be in a relationship with them. And it is possible if you get out of the bullshit and the craziness of the world. Does that make sense, you guys? Man, I could spend a lot of time on this. I shouldn't have opened up this can of worms with such a short period to discuss them in. But never, ever give up on love, you guys. Man, that's what this thing called human life is all about. So I hope this brought some value to you. I hope I made some sense out of all that I've been saying. But don't be afraid to plant again. Don't be afraid to love again. All right, you guys. And what say you? Please share your opinions, your experience, how you feel about love. What's going on in your mind after dealing with these toxic monsters? And always remember, it's better to be tricked, fooled, abused, and even damaged by a narcissist than to be a narcissist. You're a sentient human being. Keep love alive. Love is not against the law. We are in a world that's trying to make love against the law, to make love wrong and erroneous. Love is what we are. It just has to be smart love. All right, you guys, and I'll catch you on the next video. Thanks for stopping by today. I deeply appreciate you.
No tears, no fears. Fully alive again after these years.